Hello everybody, getting ready to do 3.1 part 2 classwork today for 6th grade math. And on your classwork sheet you got 20 points. Have that out ready to go, students, and you'll have 2 points that are going to your notebook or your notebook guide. Have that ready. 3.1 part 2, classifying rational numbers. Students, put your name, date, period here on your phone, your tablet, your paper, your Droid, your iPad, your Chromebook. Let's go right into page 1 of today's lesson. It's a notebook entry, rational numbers. A rational number is any number that can be written as a over b, where a and b are integers and b cannot equal 0. So right there's a pretty good definition of rational number. That in your notebook. Let's go to page 2 here in our classwork today. Write each rational number as a over b. So for negative 15, you can write that as negative 15 over 1. Students, yes. And then for 0.31, how would you write this as a rational number? It'd be 31 over 100, 31 100ths. And then for 4 and 5/9, how would you write this mixed number as a rational number, as a over b? Be written as an improper fraction of 41 over 9. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 5 would be 41 over 9. So that would be this number written as a rational number, as a over b. And for 62, how would you write that as a rational number? 62 over 1 would be a way to write this as a rational number. Okay, page 3 of our classwork today, classifying rational numbers. A Venn diagram is a visual representation used to show the relationships between groups. The Venn diagram below shows how rational numbers, integers, and whole numbers are related. So here would be whole numbers, and then this will be whole numbers, and then we have integers outside of whole numbers in our Venn diagram, and then our rational numbers will be outside of integers. So all of these would fall inside the definition of a rational number. Integers include whole numbers. So integers do include whole numbers. They do not include counting numbers, which would be our natural numbers, which would be all positive. And then rational numbers include integers and whole numbers. So rationals would include integers and negative integers, and as well as whole numbers. So there you go. There's your Venn diagram showing the different categories of numbers within the rational number umbrella, I guess you'd call it. Let's go to our first example of today's lesson. Example 2. Place each number in the Venn diagram, then classify each number by indicating in which set or sets each number belongs. So we have our blanks here. So we have 75. So which set or sets would 75 be? 75 would be a whole number. It's positive. It's a counting number. It's a natural number. The number 75 belongs in the sets of whole numbers, integers, and rational numbers. So that's 75. What about negative 3? Negative 3 would be an integer. It's a negative whole number. It would not be a counting number. It would not be a natural number, but it is part of integers. So the number negative 3 belongs in the sets of integers and rational numbers as well. And then C here would be 3/4, which would be a fraction of a whole number. The number 3/4 belongs in the set of rational numbers. It can be defined or described as a number with a rational number in the denominator, so that it can be described as a over b, where b cannot equal 0. And for D here, which is 0.35 or 35 100ths, it would be a rational number. It's not an integer, it's not a whole number, but it is a rational number. Why? because the number 0.35 belongs in the set of rational numbers because it can be described as a quotient of two rational numbers, like 35 over 100. 100 would be a rational number. Let's go to page 5 here of our classwork. Reflect about just what we've gone through. Analyze relationships. Name two integers that are not also whole numbers. So what two integers that are not also whole numbers? Like, how would you define that? And your sample answers would be negative integers here. -2, -3 will be negative integers, but they're not whole numbers. A whole number would be a counting number. It would not be a abstraction of a negative counting number. And analyze relationships. Describe how the Venn diagram models the relationship between rational numbers, integers, and whole numbers. So describe how the Venn diagram models the relationship between rationals, integers, and whole numbers. All whole numbers are integers and rational numbers. All integers are rational numbers. So that would be how you would describe the relationship between rationals, integers, and whole numbers. Let's go to page 5 here of our classwork. Analyzing relationship. Name two integers that are not also whole numbers. And we did that before with -2 and -3. The negative numbers, negative integers, are not considered whole numbers. And then describe how the Venn diagram, and we did this one as well. And let's go to page 6 here. Page 6, your turn. Place each number in the Venn diagram. Then classify each number by indicating in which set or sets it belongs. So for example, 14.1, which category here would be 14.1? It would be an irrational number. 14.1 would be considered a rational. 14 and 1 over 10 would be how that would be as a mixed number. It is rational. 7 and 1/5, again, that would be considered a rational number. 7 and 1/5 as an improper fraction, it would be 36/5. So that would be included in it's not an integer and it's not a whole number, so if it's anything, it's got to be a rational within this Venn diagram. And then -8 would be integers and rationals, so it would be considered a negative integer, which is also a rational number, so it'd be -8 would be there. And then finally here, 101, that'd be a whole number, integers and rational numbers, so it'll be all three. It'd be considered all three, so 101 would be a whole number, integer, and a rational number. And that's your lesson for today. Animated PowerPoint math video at AOL.com for questions or course materials. Thank you very much.